Investors cheering as the Dow Jones reached 13,000 for the first time since 2008. The index eventually retreated, but it did still post a gain of more than 15 points by the close. Now this year, keep in mind, that index is up more than 6%. The S&P also having a pretty big day. At one point, in fact, the index reached its highest level since 2008. So far this year, that average is climbing more than 8%. Meantime, you had the Nasdaq in the red today, posting a loss of about 3 points. But for the year, that index also up. In fact, a gain of more than 13%. Quick look at the U.S. bond market. The yield on the 10-year note rising to 2.06%. Taking a look at the longer end of the yield curve, that 30-year specifically, that yield climbing to 3.2%. Oil, big story today, also on the move. Futures nearing a 9-month high, trading well above $100 a barrel. So that is a look at the market action today. Dell, though, reporting earnings after the close. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, as we mentioned, flirting with 13,000, couldn't hang on to it. Deborah Kostroun has all the details from the New York Stock Exchange. Deb, where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with Dow 13,000, Carol, mainly because it was kind of a headline. It really kind of made news in the general media as well because it's such a big milestone. And one of the reasons we hit that was the fact that Greece got the second bailout worth $173 billion. That also gives us a lot of hope that they won't default and send the global economy into a recession. So the market rose on that news. But then the thing that kind of brought us off the 13,000 was the fact that crude oil over $105 a barrel. That means gas prices across the country, of course, they've been surging over the past month. They will likely continue to go higher. And that, of course, has an impact on consumers and consumer stocks. Because remember, high gas prices just act like a tax on consumers because if people are spending more on gasoline, Carol, they're spending less at the store and less on the to help the economy.
Yeah, it definitely has an impact, Deb. Hey, let's talk a bit more about that high price of oil. It did also have an impact on transportation names today.
Right, it certainly did, because not only are we looking at oil, but jet fuel now at the highest since May, and that really impacts the airline stocks, the transports coming in lower as well. So you saw stocks like United Continental, U.S. Airways lower, and of course that also puts pressure on businesses that transport their goods because they're paying higher prices as well. Now Dell, feeling the pain from all those tablet computers which are gaining in popularity. Dell forecasts their first quarter revenue coming up that will miss analyst estimates. So as you can see, the stock lower, and mainly this is on lower demand for PCs, and it's really because there is so much competition from Apple Macs and iPads on the high end, and then on the low end there is competition from Lenovo and also Acer. So a lot for Dell to deal with, at least for right now. Carol, back to you.
Yeah, they've got their plate full. Deb, thank you so much.